What's up, everybody? It's Quinn Paul here today, and today I have got a trash find or a dumpster find, Craftsman 6.5 horsepower lawn mower. It's a mulching style mower, and we're gonna see if we can get it running. So I did test it before to see if I could at least get to pop over, and it does pop over, but we're gonna see if we can get it to run. So, guess let's get started. So first off, we're going to first off by taking off this cover here to get into our thing. And let's disconnect. Okay, so start off by taking out your main bolt here. This one right at the top. And that's going to be a 5/16, or if you have a screwdriver you want to do it with, it has a flathead screwdriver style on it. Okay, and here comes our cover with our air filter. And you can tell air filter is very dirty. The cover is also very dirty. But for now, I'm going to stick it off to the side. Now on here, there's going to be 3 bolts. There's going to be one right here, and one right here next to your thing. And then you're going to want to remove those. And you can tell this is a pretty crusty, it's kind of a crusty mower. But I'm cleaning it up a little bit. I think I should be able to sell it for a pretty good profit. Before we start it, or try to start it, I'm going to clean the carburetor. I do have to check the oil before we start it. And I'm assuming it's probably good. I never assume, I guess, but okay. Got those 3 bolts off. Now we're going to pull this whole panel off right here. Actually, first, there's a little plastic cover on the top that's held in by a single Phillips screwdriver head. So we're going to try to pull that off first. I kind of want that out of the way. So I'm going to put all my tools that I'm using over here. So far we've used a 5/16 head to remove all those bolts. Now I'm taking a Phillips screwdriver and removing the one screw that holds in this little top plastic cover. So it's out of our way. There's one bolt. Put that in your tray. That little cover will come off, just so you can easily access everything. You can tell that's a pretty dirty cover, so we'll have to clean it. Put that tool off to the side. Now we're going to slide, since we got those bolts off, we're going to slide this whole cover off. There's some fuel in the seal here, so we're going to get a container to dump out fuel or whatever's on it. So, very nasty cover. We'll definitely clean that before we put it back on. Now, it looks like our seal is okay. I'm not going to try, well, it's already partially removed. We'll see if I can get it removed here in a minute. I don't want to crack it. I'd like to keep it. I'm going to leave it a second. I'm going to throw just a little penetrating oil on that. Actually, WD-40. Just to see if we can loosen it up a little bit, just before I take it off. Just to see if we can get the rubber loosened up, so it doesn't crack when I take it off. Next part, we're going to take off the fuel line right here. And turn the light on here so you can kind of see it. Right next to it, coming out right there, is a fuel line. So there's a little clip on the end of it, and it's going to be like a little 3-prong clip. What you're going to want is a pair of pliers. You're going to want to just go like this and grab it. Take that clip and so I'm wiggling it back, just like so. Get that dirt out of there. And you can see the 3 prongs there now, the green clip. I'm going to just try to slide it off of here. That little thing might be in the way. Okay, I'm going to take my little end off there, just it's a little rubber end. That's also got to get cleaned. Okay, there it's off. You can see. Now it's right there. and not attached to your carburetor. Now this is the spot where you're definitely going to want a little tray for your fuel. If there's any fuel left in your tank, you want to take this. I'm not sure if this line is any good. Find out. You take it off if it's good enough to save. I'm thinking probably. No, maybe, I don't know. Looks kind of old. So you can see we're pushing it and sliding it. And now it's off. And there you go. Got the fuel draining out. So now that our fuel is draining out, we'll drain this all out quick. And the end of that line looks pretty brittle on both sides. So I think I'm going to see if I have any replacement line. Can't tell if that's 5/16 or not. Is it 1/4 inch or 5? I'll have to figure it out if it's 1/4 inch or 5/16. I don't know if I have any. Okay, well I might have some line. It might just be slightly used, but it's a pretty new line. It's just that line doesn't have any cracks. But if this line works, we'll run this line here. We'll see if that fits on there. Okay, that line fits. We're gonna use that. We'll go with that with some clips at some point. But for now, we're gonna pull that line off. So now what I'm gonna do, since that line is bad, there's another clip right here, and I'm gonna grab my pliers. Remember, keep all your tools in certain areas so you don't have to go back and look for them. And that thing had some old fuel in it. It's got some really bad smelling fuel. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pick up your clip, slide it. And now I'm going to move the fuel dish back here, just in case there's any that hasn't drained out of the tank. And we're going to just slide. Oh, and I spilled a little bit there. It's okay. Spilled a little bit there, and now I got the fuel line off. Make sure you always have rags to dry up any excess fuel here. Just try to clean it up a little bit. Okay, now that our line's off, it doesn't seem to be the tank's leaking, so we're going to take our fuel dish away so we don't hit it again. And you're going to want to set that fuel dish or dump it into something clean so you can dry. Okay, now we're going to get to the step of taking the carburetor off. So, it's going to be kind of hard to tell, but in here, there's going to be 2 bolts. One right there, and one on the exact other side, opposite side right there. Plus, there's also going to be throttle linkage at the top, right here, and then it's going to connect up there, so you can just take that whole piece off. And that's your throttle linkage. But if you remove these 2 bolts, that throttle linkage will slide off. So, hold it up here. Now, I'm gonna get my, I think it's the same size as the bolts that you take off. No, it's a little bigger. So, switching over from 5/16, probably, I think it's gonna be probably a 3/8. Let me test that a second. And now I'm using a little ratchet here. And it is a 3/8 bolt that holds the carburetor on. It'll be 2 3/8 bolts. So normally I'll just get them loose or bust them free. And get them loosened up, just like that. Then what I'll do is I'll just pull that part off, set it off to the side, and just hand spin the bolts off. So you got 1 bolt. Just gotta get cleaned, set it to tray. And now we've got a, don't forget it, a second bolt. There it is. It's right there. Second bolt. Set it in the tray. Now here's you're gonna move the linkage. You're just gonna slide your carburetor and figure out which way the linkage is going. It might be a little dirty, Like I said, this is a very crusty lawnmower, and it seems like it wants to go that way, and there it goes. So it was a little loop down, like that, and over. And our carburetor is off. I'm going to get a dish, a dirty dish, to set this thing in. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move over to a different little section or station, I should call it. Clean a little spot. I'm going to pause a second and get set up for this. Okay, next part is going to be cleaning your carburetor. Now there's one of two ways you can do this. I'm going to do it the faster and I think easier way to do it if you're kind of in a pinch. Now the first way you could do it is by putting in a carburetor acid dip after you take all the components apart. But today I'm just going to use a air gun and rags to clean it. So start by getting your air gun, and you're going to need a 1/2 inch wrench. So get your 1/2 inch wrench. You want to take this and you want to sit it over your dish, and just use a crappy dish for a second, and then you're going to want to switch over to a nice dish once you get everything cleaned. And you want to break that nut free, just like so. And spin that nut out like that. And this is your main jet right here. Now that's out, I'm going to hold it up in the light and to see if it's plugged. And it's got, doesn't look to be too bad, but it could be a little bit. You're going to get kind of dirty doing this because these carburetors on these lawnmowers get very dirty. So first I'm actually going to take my rag and just kind of wipe this little surface off that I'm working with at the moment. I still haven't gotten this seal off here, but just be careful. I'm just going to wipe it off just like that, just enough, and I'm going to set it down a second and wipe my hands off. Very dirty carburetor. Okay, now I'm going to hold it evenly in my hands. I'm going to spin it just like that to crack the bowl nut free. And it looks to be that our seal is still intact. Our bowl seal is, which is good. So if that is still intact, that means we can put this back together at some point today. And it looks like our little end has fallen off, as you can see. That little shiny thing, it's your primer end. That looks like it's come off. Okay. So, next part is, I'm going to wipe my hands off again. The next part you're going to want to complete, I'll move this out of the way. Now that everything's off, that's the last thing you had to pull. This is on your carburetor here. Okay? There's going to be this little thing, this little like peg. Pull that out. Set it on your cloth. Now you can lift your bowl and needle out. This is your needle right here. You're going to want to keep that very safe. You don't want to lose that, otherwise it's not going to go back together, as well as this. Your thing that holds it all together. Okay, now as you can see, our little end fell out here, so I'm going to try to push it back in there. That might not go back in there, I don't know. That might be an issue. I'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, well, so now that you have all your ends out, I'm going to take a little bit of air. First, I'm going to drain that. I'm going to drain that gas out into the dish, the gas that was in here into the dish. Now I'm going to take a clean, very clean rag, like this. You're going to want to just, I normally will just wipe out the bottom first, try to get any excess fuel, and then I'll just wipe the outside of it, of the bowl. Just like that. Just to get it cleanish. Now I'm going to take my air, like this, and spray it clean, just like that. You want nothing in there. Clean as could be. The outside doesn't matter as much. Next up on the list is the jet. You're going to want to clean the jet. I'm going to do that off a second. Now where you're going to want to blow air is this hole right here. You're going to want to blow it down there, and then there's a side hole right here, and the same on the other side right there. Put your air gun on there. Blow air in there. Do it on the other side. And then what I always do to test if it's clear, I hold it up to a light. If you can see light through the hole, and you can get air through the hole, it's clean. So that's clean. Next up is your float. And the float, I don't blow it off. I just kind of wipe it off. Normally the float, it's plastic. It doesn't get too grimy. I mean, that's pretty clean float. Needle, I kind of just do the same thing along with the other this part, the long part. Just kind of wipe it off. Okay, so here's the important part that I'm going to tell you. There's this, and if you see down inside there's a red thing. That's your needle seat. You do not, I repeat, you do not want to blow that needle seat out. If you blow that needle seat out, you're going to leak gas. Your needle isn't going to sit. It's not going to shut. I put it in from the needle side, just like this. I insert it from that side. So then you know you won't blow it out, but you still can clean that. And I blow it into a rag. Just like that. That's all I do. Then I'll clean the rest of it. Get all your jets. Puts everything clean. You want everything to be pretty spick and span. Now I'm going to try to get the outside grub off by holding it in a rag like this and blowing on it. I'm going to blow into the rag so I don't blow crap everywhere. Just like that. See? And I would definitely recommend wearing safety glasses for this. Okay, now that's your dirty side, and that's your clean side. Now we're going to get the other dirty side. Now there's a lot of dirt inside here, so we're going to get that. I'm going to hold this thing off to the side and blow it. I'm going to try to remove the seal in a minute. I don't want to break this seal, so see if we can get this off a second. So I'm going to grab my flathead screwdriver. I'm just going to work around here. Just really carefully work around. Just like that. This is the stiff part here. This is the tough part right here. Oh, shoot, I might just crack. Nope, I didn't crack it. Okay. Perfect. It might have split a little bit, but it will still be okay. Might have split it slightly, but it's not bad. Okay, we got it. We did leave a little seal right there, but it didn't rip through all the way. It's good enough. It's just the intake seal. It's nothing really that important, but now we can continue blowing hard. Okay, the next step, blowing out the inside of this. There's nothing in here you have to worry about. You just want it really clean. Now, as you can tell, the whole carburetor looks a lot different. It's a lot cleaner, and that's about as clean as you're going to get it. Now, the next spot I'm going to blow, just because I want to make sure, is right here. These two intake holes, right there and right there. Make sure they're all blown out good. And you should be able to feel it on the bottom. Make sure you have no little screw jets in there. If you don't, then you're probably good. Grab Now set it back down. Just make sure you don't set it in any stuff. There's some stuff here. Now the next part I got to try to figure out. Putting this little silver thing back in here. I don't really know how it came out, so we're going to just try to push it in here. Okay, looks like I've got it back in. So it just flipped around and it just went in. Okay, I would say that I'm pretty happy with that. Now we're going to start putting everything back together. Okay, here we go. Make sure your jet's got a little crap in there from blowing. Blow it back out. Got a little crap on my float here. I'm going to grab a different clean rag. I will say rags or paper towel are completely fine. Towels, paper towels, rags, any of that will work. Okay, now what you're going to do is take your little your little needle, like so. Make sure no cotton is on it or whatever that was. You're going to set it inside here, like that. It's going to dangle. You're going to pick up this end, like this, and set your float. See if you can see that. Just like that. Put that end back inside of there. Just like so. Okay, now that it all lines up, take your little rod here. Hold your float. Push it through. Just like that. See how that's all back together? Now here's a little test that I'm going to teach you guys. Okay? Here's a little thing that you can do. So, if you have your float like this, okay, if you hold this up to your mouth and you blow with it down like that, you should feel there should be no air coming out. If there's air coming out, you got an issue. Now, if you go like this, flip it down, you see the float's down, blow, and you feel air coming out, that's good. That's what you want. That means your float is properly working and you're not going to flood your carburetor. So now we'll go back down to this. Now, the next part is taking your bowl, sticking it back on. Doesn't matter how it goes back on, you just got to put it on. Then taking your jet, pushing it down just like that, screwing it down. I screw it down hand tight and then I tighten with it. Now I'm wondering, I just remembered, I think I might have just a brand new one of these. We're gonna go take a look if I've got one. Okay, so here's my carb parts. Old, there's some old and there's some new in here, but it would be in a bag right here. This question is this the same seal as this? There it is. It's the exact same seal as what is on this other one. This couldn't get any similar. Okay, perfect. So we have a brand new seal that I kind of forgot I had. So put the old one in here in the bag that it came in. And I'll give you a part number for this second, just in case you need one. This is going to be a prime line, and I think this is the right number, a 7-02668-2. And that's going to be a gasket. So we're going to put this back away. At least we have good. I mean, that gasket wasn't bad, but if I have a new one, might as well replace it. Okay, now we're going to get set back up here. Okay, so got that back all together. We got our new gasket. Now I think it's ready to go back on the mower. Now the mower is a little dirty yet, so I'm gonna try to clean some of this stuff here quick. Just with a rag, wipe it down before I stick everything completely back together. So I'm gonna let you guys go a minute. I will be back just a second. In my parts array, I was able to find a brand new air filter. So I guess let's get this carburetor back on. So remember what you did before. And also we are going to change the fuel line. So actually first I'm going to change the fuel line. Get that cut and changed. So to change a fuel line, what you're going to need is a pair of cutting pliers or a knife or a pair of scissors. It doesn't really matter. I have a pair of cutting pliers that I use. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold up my fuel line like this. I'm going to measure how long my fuel line is. Let's see about that. And I'm going to cut it slightly longer just to give myself a little wiggle room. Take it like this. Cut it. Okay, cut off. Perfect. Now, you're going to want to do take your old clips off your old fuel line. So you can take it. Just like that. There's one. And there's two. I'm going to throw old fuel line in the trash because it is gross. And then I'm going to put my clips in the middle of my new fuel line. And as I drop them. So remember, just like so, you're going to take it, I'm going to hold it, I'm going to clip it, get it nice and shut, or open, stick my new fuel line in, put one in the middle, take the other one, and make sure you don't get them offset, otherwise they sit funny. Put the other one on here, just like that, and stick it on your fuel tank, slide it around, oh, fell off. And that's gonna, since it's new, it's gonna slide on really nice and easy. And then what I'll do, take my pair of pliers here. And I have the little angled pliers here because they work better for working in tight areas. And slide it up to the tank. And that looks like it's gonna work perfectly. So I am gonna, now we're gonna put the the carburetor back on. And you want to get your two bolts that you had to hold it on there, which is going to be this bolt. You're going to start them. I preset them in the holes like this, just to make it easier. And then I'll get my end that I used. And then first you're going to want to connect your linkage. Find the hole. There's only one hole on top except for the middle one. That's where it connects. It connects to that far side hole. Slide it on, make it sit even, and then put it up to the hole. And then I always just take the end and I just get the bolt started. Just like that. Once the bolts are started in both holes, finish them out, tighten them up. To do this, I will grab my socket again, just like that. Flip it to the tighten. Now, if I get this mower running today, I will not have another. This will be a one-time video, but I will have it all. I will get it myself. I will get it all cleaned up because I am gonna sell it. After I get it running, it will be I'll have it for sale. So if anybody needs a push mower, yeah, you'll have a nice clean one here after I'm done. So I just was wiping off my little piece of rubber here, and that goes back on. Slide that up. Now the fuel line goes back on, and I'm going to cut, as I said, I gave myself some wiggle room. Now I see how far it needs to be. I can cut myself quite a big chunk off here. If you're like, oh, you're wasting fuel line. Fuel line's $2 for like 3 feet. It's not that much money. I can spend a little bit of money. Okay, well that's on there. Remember, fuel clip. Put it up on the carburetor. Sometimes this little rubber end does kind of get in the way, so you just gotta really clip it. And just like that, it's on. Everything's on nice and tight. So now comes the easy part. It's putting the air filter back on. It'll be those 3 bolts again. And I did clean it up a little bit just to get it so it's not so gross, so grubby. First, actually, before I do that, I'm going to take my seal and I'm going to set it on how the seal is supposed to sit. Wait a minute. Actually, the seal might not be the same. No, it is. Never mind. It looked different for a second, but it's not. It comes up that hole there, not the other one. It just had shaped itself over time, made it look different. Okay, just like that. Seal is in it. Now I push that little air spot on. And the reason I use a screwdriver style thing for these is so you can hold it at the same time. Not so stupid to hold. I actually just push it in there, but once you get one of them started, it goes pretty easy. Put the other one in. And like I said, after I'm done, I'll clean this mower up really good after it. I know it runs and whatever. I don't think I have any fuel at the moment, so I'll have to run in my garage and grab some. I'll tighten everything up good. And the reason a lot of people say, oh, you need to torque it down more. Well, I like it hand tight with a handheld screwdriver, so if I ever got to take it off, if somebody brings it to me again, I know it's tight enough where it ain't coming off, but I also know it's tight enough to where it's safe. It's not gonna come off. That's where you can get it off again. So I'm gonna put my air box out here a little bit. Air box is a little gross, but it'll be good for now. Set my new air filter in there. Like so. Push up on this. Get it to sit right. Remember, you want to take your screw started. Tighten that thing up. Now our last part, our little plastic cover. I know this isn't a real important part, but it is the part that you don't want to lose. So, just goes like that, I think. It just kind of goes on here. Just like that. Grab our last little screw out of our tray, and you should have no screws left. Got screws left, you also got problems. And that just goes in there. And you'll see the little top spot on the air filter where it screws in. And just like that. I mean, it's not super stable, but it will work. And I'm going to go grab some fuel a minute and put it in this machine. And actually, first, I'm going to check the oil too. Okay, well, now that the carb has been cleaned, I put some fuel on it, check the oil, should be all set. We're going to see if we can get this baby to start up here. So I'm going to do a little that facing view here, and I might need a little ether, we'll see. Sometimes for the first start up. But now we're going to prime it 2 or 3 times. Make sure you guys can see it. Hopefully it will start and run. Okay. Before I get any ether, I'm just going to prime it a bunch. Okay. See if it'll work. Come on, baby. Well, that's good. I did not have to give it any starting fluid. They primed it up, starts, runs. So I guess now I got to get it cleaned up and put the bag on it and get it ready to sell. So as you can tell, it's becoming early spring. So yeah, that's a 6.5 horse Craftsman carb clean and how to get it started and run. Please like and subscribe if you see this. It really helps my channel out since I'm just getting started with it. If you could do that, that'd be great. Appreciate it. Have a good day. Thank you for watching.